So, the Autonomous Core, architecting the next generation of agentic startups. Walt Schagen is a Web3 architect, CTO of Mood Studio, and co-founder with experience spanning agentic systems, DeFi infrastructure, and smart contract security. The digital economy is undergoing a structural shift from human-centric as SaaS models to autonomous agentic ecosystems. And to survive this transition, the next generation of startups cannot bolt AI onto legacy infrastructure. So I guess I'm leaving the floor to you to deep dive into this topic and tell us everything about it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Switch the slides and your microphone. Okay.
All right, hi guys. Thank you for joining my presentation. So yeah, we started the world with the human-to-human interaction and ultimately payments. And now we move towards human to AI or agent interaction. And you can imagine, for example, ChatGPT, where you open a chat and you want to buy a sneaker, and inside ChatGPT you don't leave, you can actually buy the product. But now we're moving one step further, and this is future talk. So you don't actually buy this product yourself anymore. An agent is going to represent you, and your agent has your best interest, is going to talk with the agent on the other side, and then you buy the shoe. So that's what this talk is about, like how is this future going to look like, and I hope I can give you in this presentation some inspiration so that you get some good ideas, and maybe you can help give shape to this future. Sure. Yeah, a little bit about me. I heard already some nice words, but yeah, personally, I have a background in nanotechnology, a bit of business, and I've been a professional poker player. So I like to approach things from a scientific point of view, but also I enjoy game theory. So it really ties into this agent-to-agent concept, because it's role-based. My agent does something, the other agent responds. What do I respond back? And if we think about that, then we can imagine how our future is going to look like, and maybe we can identify where potential breaking points are. So this is a bit of an overview of the things that we'll be covering in this presentation, potential protocols that we can use, and some of these protocols overlap, so you don't need all of them, but you can use them for specific applications. And the industry. So this is a bit of a, well, everybody knows these players, right? This is the cloud and the LLM providers, but they have a stake in this concept, because they want to be the one who provides the agent. They want to be the one who the infrastructure is being built upon. And so it's in their best interest to have the open source protocols that you are going to be building on. And so, well, this is their business model, and the protocols they kind of give away for free in order to increase the adoption and ultimately have their platform as the place to be. The market, well, you see the number already, it's trillions. The market is enormous, but it's a potential market. This is really wild estimates from various companies like Deloitte, and you name them, the big four. And yeah, it's really hard to predict because we're not there yet, and how many people are going to use it depends also on a kind of exponential adoption. Like now you have the infrastructure being laid, as in payment providers like Stripe, there's crypto, there's X402 protocol that are later covered for micropayments, There's the LLM that's getting better and better. So the infrastructure is being laid for us to build these agents. But the more agents come available that can actually do useful services, that can provide these final pieces of the puzzle of the infrastructure, the more the network as a whole gains value. So yeah, it will be exponential growth at some point, but for now it's very limited, and also it's hard to measure because these interactions are direct between companies. Like you don't need like a Play Store or an App Store to do this. These protocols are just ways for agents to communicate. It's a language, but it's not, in that sense, it's not being monetized. Although, we'll come later, there's one example where it actually is monetized, but that's OpenAI. So anyway, we have the complete stack, and we'll go over that in a little bit. It's basically a big funnel where you go from like, okay, how do agents even find each other, until like, what if we have a legal issue? Who is the guilty party? Because you can imagine that there's the developer who built the agent. There's the agent from the one side, the agent from the other side. There's the buyer, the seller. When a transaction goes wrong and an agent does something wrong, who is to blame? Yeah, well, one of the things nowadays is, okay, well, if it goes wrong, you just didn't build your agent well and keep going. But there's serious companies, you know, they have done a legal issue. So there's also a protocol for that made by Google. So we'll cover that one as well. Did I just go? Absolutely in the wrong direction. We have an example case, a travel agency. So we're going to make a trip to Naples. Some of you are already from Naples, but I come from Amsterdam, so I came here. I thought it was interesting. You just go on a trip. You have a certain budget. You have certain needs. I want to do fun things, but also a question can be like, what is the weather going to be? And you can have your agent find out through, for example, using micropayments, like, okay, maybe I need to pay a specific provider a little bit to get the weather, an accurate read on the weather for my trip. And then based on that, we can start the process of interacting and negotiating with other agents to get bids on your plane, your hotel, anything. And combined all together, you book your trip. And yeah, one thing, if you book such a trip, you would like it to be one or none. Like, you don't want to book your hotel and then have your plane not come through. So there is a bit of an issue with that, and then there's a solution that they now have is a TTL, time to live, which is that a bid from an agent is valid only for a specific period of time. Only problem with that is that you can get race conditions. So if some agent doesn't respond, for example, their backend database is not working and they're just waiting with it, now you don't know if, let's say you still have 5 seconds for the TTL to expire, can you still do all of it or not? Can you send it all out to everyone and get all of it back with certainty? Let me come back to that later, because there's a solution for that that might be interesting because of this blockchain-based event. But first, the Web 2 phase of discovery. So you have agent-to-agent protocol. I don't know if some of you have heard from it, but it's a way to, you basically provide a page on your website, and other agents can read it, and it's basically your storefront, saying what you do, what you have to sell. So if you're a travel agency, you can say like, hey, I'm a travel agency, come to me, I have nice trips to offer, complete packages. And then if you want to go more into detail, you can use model context protocol, where you say like, okay, specifically, how are we going to tackle these problems? So these are basically the aisles in your store, like I have snacks, I have food, I have drinks. This is how we're going to make you a meal. That's the specific solutions. And for the developers, inside your agent card, you can already point to your mcp.json file, so you can already say, well, if you want to know the details, it's over there. That's why it will, you can guide the agent from the other side faster. Web3 has also a value here in that you can verify the credibility of an agent. So basically, you have an NFT that you put out there and you say, okay, how often does the transaction goes right? Maybe you need to put on the blockchain a proof of payment, and you have a small payment in addition to give feedback, and then you can compare agents by their performance, and agents can then see like, okay, this agent must be pretty reliable because he has a response positive response of more than 99%, and it's reliable. But what you can already see from this is that this might be gamifiable in the sense that if it's a fraction for a cent for feedback, and let's say you have a couple $100, then you can produce quite a bit of feedback. Like you just loop and you wash straight the feedback. I've checked a couple of these agent-to-agent NFT uploads, and they have a couple thousand of replies. So with a couple $, you can already gamify it. So this might not be the end solution, but if you have to provide a unique proof of payment, then it becomes maybe a bit more difficult. So you have your travel agency agent, and well, you want to be found. First thing is, okay, how do I end up in the search engines? Traditionally, we have SEO, but now we have GEO. So one way to optimize that is if you have a website that is basically like a FAQ page. So it's really short answers to questions, because that's what the LLMs, like the ChatGPTs of this world, well, any model you name it, they like these short, concise answers, and then they can quote you, and you end up in their response. That's what you want. And one specific field is AEO, which is basically the zero field in a Google search. So if you ask anything in Google and it's a question, the AI will go to work, and this is basically you're ahead of any one who wants to advertise. You're in front of them because that's the answer to the question. You're in there. So that's an important field. But of course, the problem is that nowadays with faster and faster cloud-based coding and whatever, everybody will have so many agents that this is not going to be enough anymore. But it's a start. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to advertise. You're going to have to pay to be listed. So an agent comes and says, well, what travel agency shall I use? I can use any travel agency, I don't care. Then you can bid on it. And with this protocol, you can initiate this bidding process. The first phase, the ADCP phase is semantic, so it's more like a conversation, like, hey, what do you do? Well, I have here a client and he wants to do a trip to Naples. As an agent, you can reply like, oh, that seems like a great thing, I want to bid on that. And that's the semantic part of the process. Then you go into the hardcore part of the process, like, okay, now we actually need to bid for money. How much are we going to bid? And that is it's JSON it's typed, right? Because one problem with agents is that sometimes they tend to just reply with like, oh, that's interesting, but I didn't quite get your question yet. Can you please clarify? No, now we really need to have numbers. So you can apply this protocol in different phases of the negotiation process. You can go as, for example, let's say you're you can book plane tickets. You can already put it in there, but in a negotiation between the buyer, the agent buyer, and the plane ticket seller, or when, in my example, the plane ticket seller and the intermediate, like a Lonely Planet, who then goes to the client. So there's different B2B or B2C types of potential of negotiation. Then there are commerce protocols. This is more like the old-fashioned kind of like, okay, you have a shopping basket, and you want to, so you have a web shop, and you have a shopping basket. You want to check out, but maybe you want to negotiate around like the details of this checkout. Maybe you want to apply a coupon. Maybe there's limited supply of some of the things in the web shop. Here, it's with these kind of protocols, it's possible to negotiate about that. There's two versions of this. One is from OpenAI and one is from Google. We're going to have a quick look at what the card negotiation can contain. I mentioned already the coupons. You can bid with the user agent and vice versa. Maybe there's certain stock that you want to take into account, and one of the protocols is from OpenAI, and they initially started as the idea of like, okay, we're gonna just check out inside ChatGPT, and that's it. And we're gonna be the merchant of record. There's no individual small web shops who are gonna do the checkout themselves. Problem was they couldn't solve it for all the small web shops because everyone had a different way to handle their supply, coupons, local regulation. So it was difficult, and ultimately they didn't manage. So they had to kind of give back the power to the small web shops. But still, they want to make it a business model, so they charge 4%. And if you want to do their web traffic, then you're going to have to do that. But the other protocol from Google charges nothing. But yeah, then you're not you're missing part of the traffic. Then there's another protocol that is more for enterprise, so maybe less suitable for this audience, where maybe we're focusing more on startups. But if you want to dive into the legal issues that I discussed for like who is the guilty party, you need to record what happened. So you need to record in the conversation between an agent and another agent who said what, and only then you can sort of determine where it went wrong and who's guilty for doing something not the right way. And they do that through mandates, so that's kind of like a unique code they generate for each part of the journey. Okay, so then we reach the checkout phase, or the payment phase. And I thought I would share a little bit of general knowledge about how payments can work, because there's basically two ways. You can push and you can pull. A pull payment is kind of like the credit card way, where the user doesn't initiate the payment. It's being pulled away from their account, and they can have a legal period of, I think in Europe is 8 weeks, where they can say, no, that actually was not correct. And then you cannot do anything against it, they will get their money back. So this is an expensive way, but it has advantages as well. Also, it's safer for the user sometimes because they're insured. So for micropayments, this is not suitable at all. You need push payment. Basically, the user says, I'm going to pay, and then they have no rights. They basically give all the rights away, but it also doesn't cost anything, so there's nothing to insure or no, there's no risk. One thing I thought it was interesting, I looked up that effectively merchants lose 8% per dollar on pool payments. So effectively, with disputes and everything combined, they lose 8 cents per dollar if you make such a payment. So this is both are huge industries, of course. So machine payments protocol is where the machine-to-machine interaction comes. And this is, of course, the push payment, and this is the alternative to X402 protocol, which is more crypto based. So X402 protocol is related to USDC payments on Base, and this offers more also kind of TradFi payment options like you have with Stripe. Integrations, you have like billing and invoices. So if you're an enterprise that's not per se interested in DeFi only, you want to use machine payments protocol. And if you have, for example, an arbitrage bot that just wants to trade and maybe make money from data sources maybe you don't care about these traditional streams. And so this MPP, they use Tempo as a blockchain, which is one slide I kind of want to skip for time constraints. But yeah, you can look into them. This is just a business. They launched a blockchain, and they have really cheap gas fee because it's basically permissioned. So. There's a little bit of a comparison between the two protocols that you can use. And the funny thing is, like, we're talking about protocols that have started in like 2025. Like, this has been a year old, and the roadmaps are really strongly converging. So whatever features you're looking at now that one has and the other one doesn't, a year from now, they're looking at each other and they're going to have the same. So I wouldn't look at it too much into like, oh, is Stripe available in the one side and then not in the other? Stripe is available in both. You know, like they want to do everything. So only thing is that X402 is more like blockchain native, and MPP is a bit more solution for enterprise. So yeah, we're almost reaching the conclusion of my talk, and I was hoping today to inspire you guys with a few ideas. And one of my thoughts was, okay, we need to not simply build agents because you might be replaced, or you want to build the infrastructure or the fundamental breakpoints, essentially. So I put down a couple of ideas of what potentially can be done. So one example is, for example, a price aggregator. I think so. Here we just talked about this. How do you know if an agent gives you the best price? If your agent is with you, because they can also accept bids from the other agent. Like, how do you know that you get the best price? Well, you can make an aggregator protocol and you start comparing prices, maybe real time, maybe on aggregate per month, maybe over a bunch of users. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do to start comparing those kind of things. Other problems can be, for example, all right, well, feel free to read about some of these ideas. But basically, there's friction sometimes because, and it can be long-term friction of, for example, OpenAI with Gemini, with you name it, Claude, and they have different visions. If you can see those friction points and you can combine them, you can offer, for example, an SDK, you offer a solution that is interoperable. That can be a long-term thing that nobody can compete with because they don't want to. And then you have a solution that is not being competed away in a year from now because they come with an upgrade to their protocol. So yeah, that was kind of it. Maybe make a photo of the references if you think it's interesting. Then you can look up a bunch of data yourself. And with that, I would like to thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we have a beautiful stand of Mood Studio here, so yeah. I'm sure you can find Walt for all the questions and deep dive into more details.
Yeah, so, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Feel free to come over and discuss the topic with me.
Thanks again.